The employment situation today is completely out of whack. You see the store signs everywhere looking to hire. At the same time, you've got many people out of work. The statistics are all there for us to see. Something underneath, however, is going on, and we'll get into all of that. The term anti-work or the Great Resignation has been picking up steam, and this is something that I wanted to talk about loosely and casually so we can begin right here. Nearly a quarter of workers plan to quit in 2022. Some of those employees want to switch to industries like IT and finance. So you could see what has happened if I show you statistically first with the unemployment rate, 3.9% according to the BLS. We are at a level that was basically before 2020. Then you see the labor force participation rate, quite different. Okay, certainly there are less people in the labor force than were there before. And you saw that from, I don't know, let's say about 2016 or so, the numbers started to pick up somewhat. Still down from where it was. So then there's the drop off in 2020, and then it started to pick up once again. We are still far below where we were. So that's the employment situation told from two different statistics. But you look at it on this different level, and many people today have said, I don't need this job. I don't need the $15 an hour. I don't need the boss, and I'm going to do this or that. And I've read so many articles that I just haven't covered. People who are walking dogs because they like dogs and they can make just enough money to pay their bills and whatever they need. We've also seen a big change in which people are co-inhabiting. They are finding multiple roommates, or they're buildings that are essentially like dormitories where people can live in them with many other people or share facilities and so on. Things have changed. There's no doubt. There's the whole culture of renting everything. You don't buy your phone, you rent it from Apple. You don't buy your even, clothing. Some people are simply renting their clothing, the nice clothing, when they need it for a particular meeting or appointment or so on. The same with designer bags and designer jewelry and all of these different things. So we're in a different world than we were years ago. The Great Resignation will likely continue in 2022. Almost one quarter of workers are looking for a new job this year. Of those employees, some want to move into IT, business, and finance. Why? Because certainly there's more jobs in robotics and automation, and all of the money is certainly being put into technology, and we've seen what happened with technology stocks. Now, we don't know exactly what's going to perform the best and so on, but that's where people are interested in right now. Roughly 23% said that they want to quit this year. Another 9% have already found another job, and an additional 9% that say that they will retire. This is where it gets concerning, because people, they've made money on cryptocurrencies. They've made money on their stocks. Their retirement accounts are bigger than where it was. So they feel the confidence. And that's great, because obviously you want to be confident going into retirement. Some people are saying, I'm never going to be able to retire because the expenses are so high. Other people who have a lot invested have seen the growth. Maybe it's their real estate. Suddenly their house is worth twice what it was before. Oh, and then they do a little calculation. I can retire 5 years earlier. Like I said, it's great, but we got to be careful. Now, one of the things I want to interject right here is that people should be looking around, whatever their current employment situation is. If you've got a job today, you should be looking for more pay. There's no doubt about it, because employers, they don't want to retrain you or retrain a new employee. They want to keep you. And certainly for a lot of people, simply going to a new job has gotten them a lot more money. I heard of one example recently. The guy was making $65,000. He quit, got pretty much the same job at a different company, and is making $100,000 simply by leaving one place and going to another. And that is why people are quitting, and you're seeing everything that's happening today. Now, you as an individual certainly should be getting what you feel you are worth. I'll tell you that much. And we have this article here. Reddit Antiwork forum booms as millions of Americans quit jobs. Members of online community encourage each other to resign and complain about the boss. Now, I don't think it does any good to complain, although, hey, we've all been there. But we should be just aware of what this means and what this signals. But I want to stop for a minute and just ask you, what do you think about the current employment situation? Is this all temporary? Are people going to be able to walk dogs for the rest of their life? Or do we have a situation in which so much cash has been flooding into the systems, the portfolios, the retirement accounts, and sloshing around out there that we've created sort of this mirage that will disappear at some point? Or is this the new reality? Is the government just going to hand everybody a paycheck so this can continue on forever and ever? Let me know in the comments down below, please. We need to talk about this. This is just, a personal situation in Antiwork. She's looking at this, how fast this has grown. And this is just one example, okay? Absolutely one example. Looking at this, huge numbers of Americans quit their jobs last year. 4.5 million in November. That was the highest quit rate since the department began tracking in 2001. Many workers probably left their jobs after receiving better offers. Previously, 2020, a lot of people simply stayed home because they were getting money from the government. And I've seen it before. Why would I work if the government's going to pay me more? That was temporary in some cases. So that was a situation. But that wasn't over because apparently a lot of people have not gone back. That's a fact. A lot of people simply just said, I'm not going back. And they found alternative work circumstances and so on. Let me know what you think of this. Okay, I want to know your opinion. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm just bringing up this issue, not as an opinion, but to break it down a little bit. I hope that was of some level of importance to you. I think there's a lot of positions that just don't make any sense, that do not have to exist. You're just pushing around papers for no good reason. Doesn't really help anybody. And they call them idlers. Actually, this was the article I was reading about the dog walker, I think. And it just makes me think of everything that has happened with the central banks and what they have done, how they've created these dislocations and distortions and really messed things up. I'm not saying somebody finding a job that they're passionate about and so on is a bad thing. That's a great thing. But what I worry about is so many people that are saying, I'm going to retire now. So they decide to retire, and a year later, something happens, their portfolio, their home value, whatever crashes, and then they say, you know what, I got to go back to work. And then now, they're 58 years old. They can't go back in the workforce necessarily. Maybe someone doesn't want to pay them what they were getting before. They got to start entry level price or something much lower than they were at. A lot of people don't want to do that. They got to downsize their home. They start selling their assets. You don't want this to happen. So I just don't want a mirage to take over. That's really what it's all about. Anyway, so if you appreciate the information, simply just click that like button. I do appreciate that very much. And that's all. See you on the next one.